stranded color work in general and Fair Isle in particular are techniques that I really, really love, and they're well worth learning much more about. Over here I've got just a variety of different samples that show you kind of the depth and breadth of looks that Fair Isle can accomplish, from the very traditional with Shetland wool, where a halo, the slight halo that sticks out around the woolen spun wool, kind of yields this very blurry, sort of painterly effect to the stitches, to very crisp, modern Fair Isle that still follows all the basic principles of color arrangement and pattern arrangement, but because the yarn is so crisp, has a very different graphic kind of look to it, all the way to kind of a modern interpretation of Fair Isle that uses some newfangled designs as well as a very modern color scheme for a little girl. But I think that a lot of people are daunted by Fair Isle just because the choices seem overwhelming. There are hundreds of colors, there are hundreds of traditional patterns, hundreds of thousands of patterns that you could come up with on your own. So rather than give you any rules or specific hard and fast things that you must do or not do, I think it's better to start with kind of a set of guidelines so that you're not overwhelmed with too many choices at once and you always have a place to start. So the most common question is, there are just too many colors, how can I come up with a color palette for myself? And my suggestion would be to just start with colors that you like. Just pull a bunch of skeins of colors that you like. Do this in clear, natural daylight so that you can see the true colors, and arrange them roughly into a group of dark colors and a group of lighter colors. Now, it can be a little bit deceptive when you're looking at colors, because you can be sort of deceived by the hue of the yarn into thinking that the color is lighter or darker than what it actually is. And the value, the relative lightness or darkness of the color, is what is actually important in Fair Isle. So one trick that I really like is to take a piece of red cellophane and hold it over your yarns, and use that to arrange your colors in a value sequence, or to see which colors are truly light and which colors are truly dark. For example, I would never guess just from looking that this color is darker than this color, but when you hold something over it that cancels out the colors a little bit, you can really see how much darker this blue really is than the orange. And in an overall Fair Isle pattern, if you misplace this would be really jarring and would come forward if it was out of the value sequence. So kind of familiarize yourself with that. The red gel is not the only way that you can cancel out the value. You can take a picture in black and white. You can take a picture and print it out in black and white. You can get creative so that you can focus on the darkness or lightness rather than the actual color itself. So once you've kind of separated out your yarns into rough groups, what I would do is pick 3 dark colors and 3 light colors. So I'm going to go with these 3 dark colors, and I think I'm going to go with these 3 light colors. Now you want to go back to your gel and you want to make sure that the lightest color of the dark group is still darker than the darkest color of your light group, if that makes sense. You want to make sure that there's a clear separation between the 2 groups. One will become your pattern group and one will become your background group. And once you've started working on that, I like a few different ways to make sure that you can live with your color choices. One of the things that I like to do is to sort of mock up what these will look like once they're knitted by wrapping them around a big stick or a piece of cardboard, something like that, where you can really see the colors in relation to each other. Another trick is to knit some I-cord, an inch or so of each color, and then carry it around with you so you can see what it looks like in different lights. You can do all different kinds of things to make sure that you like the colors. And then you just have to start knitting. And if you don't like them, it's no problem. You can just rip them out because it's just yarn.